feed on the Facebook as well. Yeah. Just a sec, dude. All right, yeah.
And we are live.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get this thing started.
Live on Facebook. We're about to be live on the radio too. Tune into WJMF.
And it is official. We are live.
And we are also back too. We are back.
It has been a while. We're finally able to say we are back in the Koffler Center.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, we've been doing shows from our house. We've been doing it from we've been doing them from our bedrooms, from the common rooms, and our suites. And we can finally say we are back in the Koffler Center. And it's weird because we have to have headset covers on. We have to
wear these masks, but
yeah,
whatever it takes.
But we are finally able to say that we are back and we are officially live from the Koffler Center at Bryant University. It is great to be back, and it's great to be able to talk to you guys on multiple platforms.
Yeah, I mean it feels good. I can't even remember the last time we were in here.
I think I was looking at some of the talking points from when it happened. I think one of the big stories at the time was when Spike Lee got kicked out of the Knicks game.
Oh, yeah, I do remember
that. That was probably the biggest story of the time at the time, and just in terms of thinking of like all the stuff that's happened since we talked about this on the radio, just everything's gone completely crazy.
Yeah, and like I said, we're also live on the radio too. WJMF, tune in.
Yeah. So if you guys do want to tune on into the radio, we're currently live on 88.7 HD2 Smithfield, Providence, or you guys can tune in to WJMF.com if you guys want to listen on the web player, which is probably the way to go right now. I'm not too sure about the way the radio is working, but I do know that the web player is working, which is great news for us.
But I know we got a pretty packed show tonight, so let's get into it. What do you say?
We got a lot to talk about. Just from all over the leagues, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
What's going on in the sports world?
So let's just jump right into it. So Celtics Heat. Celtics. I think they're playing tonight.
Heat are up 2-1. Game 4 is tonight.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
The Miami Heat for the last 2 games, they just wanted it more. They really did want it more, and this will be I think this is the series tonight. This is without a doubt, I think, the series tonight. If the Celtics can do it, then I think we have a shot. But if Miami takes this, it is officially over. I will be the one to say it is officially over.
No miracle comeback stories.
I don't think so. I think this Celtics team has kind of dealt with a lot with, I think, too much for them to ponder a possible comeback if they go down tonight.
I think I agree with you. The Celtics team the momentum is not on our side lately. I think even the Heat wanted it more in Game 3.
Yeah, I think we got lucky.
Definitely. But who's reffing tonight?
We got Tony Brothers and the other guy. I can't remember his name, but we got Tony Brothers. Whenever he's reffing a Celtics game, not good news when you got Tony Brothers out there on the court.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
Scott Foster, that's the other one. Yeah. Whenever you got Scott Foster on the floor, you got Tony Brothers out there. It's like Jerome Boger reffing a pass game. Good stuff is not going to happen.
Not getting the calls.
No, you're usually not getting those calls.
So the odds are clearly on Miami's side tonight. All I can hope is that our Celtics keep it up, keep doing well. But not sure about that.
You got to keep the faith a little, but it's definitely going to be tough. It's definitely going to be a tough one for the C's tonight. Hopefully they can eke it out, but it's going to be a battle.
And on the other side of things, Lakers Nuggets Game 4 coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah, in Game 3 we really learned how much of a difference that Anthony Davis buzzer beater was, because if he doesn't hit that, the Nuggets are up 2-1 right now.
Yeah.
In that series, the Nuggets played a strong Game 3. I do think that the Lakers are still going to take the series. And I think that the way that the Lakers came back at the end from being down so much to Denver, I honestly think it probably gives them more of an advantage and says more about them going forward than anything.
Yeah, I definitely like to see the Nuggets do it. Just
Oh, I
because,
mean, obviously,
you gotta root for the underdog.
and you got to root. And I mean, being from Boston, you kind of have to root against LeBron.
Exactly. Root against LeBron. Root for the team that the Celtics would do better against in the finals potentially.
Exactly.
So go Nuggets from here.
Oh, for sure. I 100%.
What about Jamal Murray? Jamal Murray's a star.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, there have been so many guys on that Nuggets team balling out. I mean, obviously you got the Joker and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
But I mean, Michael Porter Jr. is going to be something special.
Oh yeah. And I mean, I had not high hopes at all for that guy when he was coming into the league. I thought for sure he was going to be a bust, but he's proving himself to be a very solid NBA build type player.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been playing off the charts this year. I mean, if he does get to the point where he is a fully healthy, NBA superstar, he's going to be one of the faces of this league. I mean, I think he has a chance to probably, if he gets to his full potential, he will be better than Zion, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, he almost has like a Kevin Durant kind of play style, but he has it in a more athletic type body.
Yeah, I mean, I think his personality is a lot better than Kevin Durant as well.
Oh, well, that's without question.
Yeah, without question.
Yeah. Yeah, no. So I mean, that's without question. And if the Nuggets are definitely a team that even if they don't do it this year, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with for at least the next couple of years. It's going to be an exciting.
Yeah,
it's going to be a very exciting Denver team to watch.
I mean, in the few minutes of the game I actually watched last night, I was able to see Michael Porter Jr. hit a three right in LeBron's face, and nothing has made me that happy. I gotta say.
Yeah,
it was good to watch, but out of moving out of the NBA a little bit, there's not too much else to cover. Let's talk some baseball for a bit.
Yeah. Okay, so it says that we're not getting any sound right now. I'm getting some. It seems like we're getting some sound right now on Facebook, but and I just checked right now. It does seem like we are getting sound, but if you want to turn the gain up, I guess you could do that.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah,
give it a shot.
If it's on the radio, then I mean, obviously, I can't guarantee you with all the stuff that's going on there, but I just did a quick check on my phone, and everything does seem like it's going pretty well right now. But we'll have to just see about that later on. But yeah, we can go over to baseball if you want. So in some of the big news, out of the MLB was the San Diego Padres, who have clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2006. So I think that was one of the longest playoff streaks, completely just slashed. I think the longest one is still the Seattle Mariners, who haven't made it since 2001, which is crazy to think about because I was born in 2001.
Yeah.
But, I think it's just as crazy to think about the Padres because, 2006 of October, we were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
I mean, it's surreal to think about.
It is. I mean, the Padres, like I always say on the show, I'm not the biggest baseball fan, but even I know that the Padres have been a dying franchise for can't even remember how long. So it's nice to see a team like that get their shot.
Yeah.
And I think the Padres are very deserving from what I've seen. Fernando Tatis Jr. He's all I'm hearing about out of baseball. So high hopes.
Yeah, no, I mean Tatis is a stud. I mean the kid plays with a ton of passion. I mean he's going to be one of the focal points of the game for at least the next I would say decade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the guy's just a stud out there. I mean we were talking, and I mean to take a franchise like the Padres, which have had trouble for so long, and the fact that they're going to be able to, I mean any other division in baseball right now they're the leaders, but the fact that they're in that stacked division with the Dodgers. It just shows how good LA is in comparison to the rest of the league, but they still can't come through with the title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So in terms of San Diego, it's also good because this is also going to probably shine a good light on the GM there, AJ Preller. I mean, back in 2015, he made a slew of moves at the deadline, kind of similar to the ones that were made at this deadline. He did them in the offseason at the winter meetings, where he acquired guys like Matt Kemp, Justin Upton. Will Myers, just to name a few. He got James Shields, in a deal, and it seemed like he was just, really gunning for it, and then it completely fell flat.
Mm-hmm.
And, you look at it now, and you see all these moves, and it's actually paying off, and it's like, wow, this guy may have figured out the formula.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope so.
Yeah, no. So, but Also in baseball news, some actually unfortunate news. Astros pitcher Justin Verlander officially is going to have to get Tommy John surgery. He'll likely miss the 2021 season. When he comes back, he'll be 39 in 2022. He says that if all goes well, he'll be able to. He thinks he can pitch as long as he wants to, and can accomplish some of the goals that he still has for himself. For a guy coming back that late, what are your thoughts on that? Especially a magnificent pitcher like Verlander.
I mean, Verlander is, again, one of those names I've been hearing out of baseball for a long time. I actually got a chance to see Verlander pitch live in Detroit when I was younger.
Really?
It was a great experience. I mean, the guy has been a stud for his entire career. And, 39, he's pushing 40, and he's just now getting Tommy John surgery. I think that's pretty impressive.
The fact that he's been able to last as long as he did, he has had surgeries in the past. To say that, he hasn't been completely, healthy for all his career.
He's still a great pitcher.
Oh no, without a doubt. The fact that he was able to win the Cy Young, I think like 1 year ago, it just says the fact of how much he was able to basically resurrect his career because, he won it in 2011 and 2012. He was second in the voting. But after, going into 2013 and 2014, a lot of people thought, this guy's career might be on the ropes because, he was facing a lot of injury problems. And it was just a matter of, is this guy going to be able to hold up, or is this the end of just a great pitcher? And he battled back from the injuries, and he managed to get healthy, and he proved why he's one of the best pitchers in baseball.
So all I can hope for the guy is that his career goes as long as he wants, like you said. Pitch till you're 50.
Pitchers are one of those positions. It's not you go every 5 days, and for him, he can still throw really hard.
Exactly.
And you see some legends like Nolan Ryan who pitch till they're 46, and you see guys like Jamie Moyer who completely opposite end of the spectrum, but he pitched till he was 49.
Exactly. It's not a physically demanding position, so
physically demanding, yes, but it's
physically demanding on the arm.
Yeah. But you look at it in comparison to like a sprinter or something. If you had to tell me like Usain Bolt had to like make a comeback at 39, I'd tell you no way. But pitching is one of those things where if you can get your body into the shape, it's really not a matter of age at that point. If your arm's healthy, you usually can be good to go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely going to be a tough one for Verlander. Baseball is winding down. The Red Sox are not going to be anywhere close to the playoffs. They'll be probably closer to the number one draft pick than anything.
Yeah.
But we can talk about some bright spots in the season. One of them definitely being slugger Bobby Dahlbeck, who when we called him up, I remember seeing this guy in Double-A, and at the time he really kind of just looked like a raw prospect. Things really couldn't tell a lot about where he was going to be going, but he does look like he's a really solid prospect, and I think that good things are going to happen for him. Another thing I'd probably say too is this Red Sox team, the one thing that they are lacking is the pitching, but their offense is definitely coming through. I think that their offense will be able to bounce back in 2021. You got guys like Michael Chavis. I was talking about Dahlbeck. He's really matured and turned himself into a decent hitter. He does still have some consistency problems at the plate, but I think if he can polish those up, he'll be a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really all I kind of have on the baseball side of things. But
let's move into some football.
There's a ton of stuff happening in football this weekend.
Yeah.
I think the big news for everyone was just the injury bug hit the entire league all at once.
Oh my God! In a matter of 2 weeks, I don't think I've ever seen this many superstars injured.
Yeah, it is crazy. just some of the names to go off. Nick Bosa, Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Drew Lock, Jimmy G, Devontae Adams, and just so many more.
So many.
It is crazy to think that, you can't say that this isn't because of, this obviously is because, they didn't have a preseason. I think that, these guys just couldn't get in the games where, you have to at least see some game action.
Thankfully, like most of these injuries you're listing off aren't like season ending. Michael Thomas is coming back hopefully this week.
You got Nick Bosa and Saquon though; they're out for the season.
Two big names, you're right. But for the most part, we're going to see a lot of these guys back on the field. Hopefully, McCaffrey within like maybe a month or so. I think they're saying 4 to 6 weeks for him.
Really?
But that's a shock to some fantasy owners. I know I was shocked when Michael Thomas got out. McCaffrey. he's a stud in fantasy, so we'll see.
Yeah, no, I mean McCaffrey obviously is a stud, and I mean just the fact that all these guys going down, it is going to be a big impact in the fantasy game, without question. I mean it's a monumental shift of stuff happening over there. I mean, the Giants just signed Devontae Freeman. I know that that's going to probably be a big pickup for some guys. Deion Lewis was rumored to be picked up by a lot of guys before they signed Freeman, but
I actually picked up the.
yeah, I know you did. Yeah, and I'm wondering how you're feeling about that now.
He's already out of my roster.
Oh, really? That was quick.
That was quick. He
Yeah.
didn't even get his starting chance.
Yeah, I mean, if Dion had been that feature back, I mean, you could have seen. There's a chance he would have been able to rack up some fantasy points, because when you design an offense around him and he could be a focal point, he really can score you some points.
Yeah, I mean, not like it really mattered for me this week. Won by a large margin, but
Yeah,
we won't talk about that on the air.
Oh yeah, no, we won't. It's all good. I think I had Kittle as one of my tight ends or something like that, and that really kind of costed me.
Yeah, I mean, my team just absolutely went off.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It was great to see.
Yeah, the two leagues I was in, I wasn't as lucky. I mean, I was riddled with injuries. I mean, I did have Kittle out in one of my leagues, and I just said, basically screw it, and I had to like sign like OJ Howard or something who only scored me like 2 points, and I was like, Jesus, dude, come on.
Yeah, I mean, those last minute pickups just to fill up a position, they're tough, but
no, without question.
But let me talk a little bit about Thursday night's game. We had Bengals versus Browns. I don't know if you saw it. Did you watch the game?
I tuned in a little bit. I mean, I saw that Burrow had himself a pretty good game.
Oh, he had a great game.
Yeah, I mean, Burrow did really well.
This guy is really going to prove to be a star, I think. He's just, you can tell he's calm in the pocket. He knows exactly what he's doing. But that Bengals offensive line is atrocious.
Oh, my God. So, I mean, I'm hoping Burrow can at least make it through the season.
I mean, he was on the ground more than he was on his feet.
I know that Bengals offensive line has been, just a mess for this entire year.
They got to protect that guy if they want him to perform. But like I said last week, I mean, I'm still getting some strong Peyton Manning vibes from him.
I don't see Peyton Manning at it. I almost see more of like a Drew Brees type.
Well, not just the way he plays, but the way that he's on a team with not enough help. And all I can hope for the guy is that he can start a dynasty somewhere else. It's not in Cincinnati.
Yeah, it's not going to be with the Bengals where he ends up, I think having the most success or even finishing his career. He's not going to do that with the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
I do not think at all.
Exactly.
He was a great Tiger at LSU, but he will not be able to be a great Tiger in Cincinnati.
But I'm glad he's losing a little bit, because I think
it will teach him some humility. That is something that good that will happen, because sometimes you do it will kind of like make him realize, hey, this is a team sport, and I can go out there and ball out, but I do need my guys to all step up around me, which it can be a little demoralizing, but it is kind of just the reality of the situation.
And that's what most of these former number one draft picks are lacking, is they have skill, they have pretty much every aspect of their game down to a science, but they just lack that leadership, and I think Joe Burrow doesn't. Yeah. I think this guy's the real deal.
Yeah, Joe Burrow does seem to have a lot of leadership. He also seems to have a lot of swagger.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he carries himself very highly.
I mean, watching that game, after the game was over, not a lot of guys were high-fiving him. He was kind of getting disrespected a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's going to happen when you're the number one pick. You never lost a game in college. You're going into week 2 of your NFL career, and he was just getting destroyed in the pocket. It was sad, but we can move forward. I hope if anything for the Bengals, they just learn to protect that guy a little bit, because he's their quarterback and he's good.
Absolutely, I completely agree with you. We'll talk about another QB battle that happened on Sunday Night Football. We got to see Cam finally square off against Russell Wilson, and we saw Cam back in the pass threads, and I'll give it to him. He really had himself a game. 307 yards, I think it is, 1 touchdown. He did have 1 interception, but Russell Wilson, just balled out, 5 TDs, just
like always. What else can you expect from that guy?
And but you look at Cam and the Pats, and I don't know how a Pats fan can't walk away from that game feeling pretty good about
pretty good about the team after that game.
Yeah,
I mean, we came out. It was obviously sad, come up 1 yard short of a comeback, but. Yeah,
I mean, it really is unfortunate that we only are able to play the Seahawks, only basically every 4 years. Because when we do, just amazing things just seem to happen.
It's always a good game.
Oh my God, it's insane.
Never failed to disappoint.
I mean, it always seems to come down to the 1 yard line.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy how that happens.
You think Belichick had Super Bowl 49 in the back of his head a little bit when he ran?
It's probably in the back of him every time he goes and sees Pete Carroll.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how it can't. I don't know how it can't be. But I mean, that Cam play really does still make me mad though, because I mean, you couldn't even give a hint of a pass. I mean, I wouldn't say pass there because Cam has been dominating the entire league so far this year. But I mean, at least just hint at like maybe something like a tight end
Yeah,
like a
you
tight
said,
end could
throw,
leak out or
throw a
something like that.
receiver out on the right
Yeah,
or something
just throw
like that.
just throw Edelman out there and just be like yeah, he's gonna go like body up this corner or whatever, and just like at least have the option out there.
Mm-hmm.
The other part too that a lot of people are mad about is the fact that if Cam had literally just decided to just go around to the left, he had the entire he had the game. Like it was like if he had like kind of just basically decided to ad lib there, the game was had.
Yeah, it was frustrating, but
Yeah.
I wish more than anything we could go back and change that, but there's just no way. I think there's high hopes for the future. This game proved it completely. I think Dave Portnoy said it best. He, coming from a Pats fan, you couldn't be happier with the outcome of that game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a dub would have would have sent Pats Nation through the roof, but I mean, definitely a good game and a promising game for Pats Nation without a doubt. But Pats have a chance to really make it up next week. They got the Vegas Raiders, and a lot of people were probably thinking this game might be more of a cakewalk. But after the game that Vegas gave the Saints, I think the Pats are probably kind of like shaking a little bit and going, wow, that this may not have been the easy game, the easy tune-up game that we were probably thinking.
I definitely don't think it'll be a cakewalk at all. That Raiders team is proving themselves to be very good, very solid.
It kind of, I remember a couple of years ago, it kind of just proves the point that if you give Derek Carr, a decent team around him,
he's phenomenal.
Yeah, he can actually succeed with a decent team around him. I mean, he did it a couple of years back.
I know he's not your favorite guy, but you think John Gruden gets any credit for building this team up?
Gruden, I'll give him credit for the Josh Jacobs pick because a lot of people were down on him for that. Mm-hmm. And he just said, I'm gonna get my guys and I'm gonna build the team that I think will win. And Josh Jacobs is one of the best backs in the league right now.
Yeah,
I mean the guy's tearing it up. You also can think about Henry Ruggs. He's finally giving Derek Carr some weapons, and he's like, I'm finally gonna give you the keys to this football team. Go nuts, man.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were talking about is Marcus Mariota going to be the guy that probably replaces him halfway through the season. If Derek Carr continues playing the way he is, I don't think that's going to happen.
I really don't think it's going to happen because Derek Carr is able to do exactly what Drew Brees wanted to do.
Yeah,
week 2.
Exactly.
He wanted to go out there and he wanted to put every single ball exactly where he wanted to, but that's what Derek Carr was doing, not Drew Brees. It was literally like shocking to see the Raiders play that well.
Yeah, I haven't seen Raiders highlights like that since 2001 when they were scoring off against the Pats.
Yeah.
I've never seen the Raiders, do as well as they have to start a season as they have this year. I'll give them credit. They've been playing out their mind.
Yeah, they have.
And that cannot make the fans of the fans of Oakland happy at all. I know that the Monday night commentators were saying, well, I feel like the Oakland fans can at least be happy that their team is having some success out there. I'm like, no, they're not having success. They're not happy.
You think they wanted that team to relocate? No way.
And then have success. Like it's called the Baltimore Colts.
Exactly.
It's called the Cleveland Browns. It's called the Cleveland Browns going to becoming the Baltimore Ravens and winning the Super Bowl like the next year.
Mm-hmm.
You think the fans of Cleveland are happy about that? No, they are not happy about that.
Yeah, they're already Chargers fans up there in Oakland.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of the Chargers, how about week 2 matchup for the Chiefs versus the Chiefs Chargers? Tyrod Taylor, a little bit of an interesting story there.
Yeah, so for any of you guys who haven't heard, basically Tyrod Taylor, before the game he had cracked ribs, and I guess to treat he was going to get an injection to like basically treat it, and the injection ended up puncturing Tyrod Taylor's lungs, and I don't know how long he's going to be out for now. A punctured lung is basically what Drew Bledsoe had when he went down and Tom Brady had to replace him.
Yeah.
I think I said it a couple weeks ago. Tyrod Taylor is really just the type of guy that he's just going to be around until he's either beat out or injured, and then the next guy takes over. You look at he did the same exact thing happened in Cleveland with Baker.
Yeah, no, I
Literally,
think you're completely right, and that's why I was shocked when the Chargers actually planned on starting him week 2.
yeah,
And when I heard Justin Herbert was starting, I couldn't have been happier. The guy went off.
yeah.
When's the last time you've seen the Chiefs brought to overtime?
Yeah, and especially you've seen the chart. Especially seeing a team like the Chargers who really haven't been. They were formidable and they gave the Pats a fight in the 2018 season, but really I don't think they were going anywhere that year. But to have to play as well as they did, you can't say like you aren't impressed by that. That was an insane game for Herbert. And I think Anthony Lynn is a fool for just saying, when Tyrod Taylor's healthy, he's going to be our starter. I'm like, no, dude.
He should not be the
I'm like,
starter.
no, dude. You just had a dude who went out there and balled, and you're gonna tell him that, and you're gonna tell him to basically take a seat. It's like, no, dude. Tyrod has a punctured lung. The guy had cracked ribs after week 1. Justin's your quarterback. He has to be.
He has to be.
Unless
give some minutes.
Unless you tank it, unless you're trying to tank and get like a good wideout or something. There's no reason in my mind why Justin isn't starting after the week he had against Patrick Mahomes in that Chiefs team. You have to give him credit for that. He got you to overtime.
It's one thing to bring the Chiefs to overtime. It's another thing to bring the Chiefs to overtime in your first NFL game of all time, especially when you're broken the news that you're starting about, I don't know, a few minutes before the game.
Pretty much.
Crazy.
You don't have a lot of time to really get into that.
What a story.
Yeah. Good for Justin Herbert. I'm hoping the best for him. He seems like, him and Burrow, they seem like they have promising careers ahead. It's going to be interesting to see, who among them, in that rookie class ends up having the better career.
No, I really think the Chargers are one of the last teams that need to tank right now.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
Like, they got so many weapons.
They got Keenan.
They got Keenan Allen. Hunter Henry's healthy. Run it up the middle with Eckler.
Yeah. You could honestly build a
and Herbert under center. Like, come on, man, who's better than the Chargers right now?
The Chiefs who are in their division. That's probably more of the issue. It's the fact that the Chiefs are in that division with them. That's basically the cause for concern there.
You don't think there's any shot at a wild card would be added?
Oh, I'm not saying a wild card couldn't be possible. I think that's more than possible. But you look at that Chiefs team, and it's like you could have looked at it before the Drew Lock injury, and it could be like, well, if we're gonna be the third team in this division, might as well, I could understand the idea of tanking and then getting a better pick and then going from there. But really, I don't. But really, I think that the Chargers could, go for it, especially with the Drew Lock injury now emerging.
No, they could, and the fact that they did bring the Chiefs to overtime, it's high hopes. Who says they can't do that when it's more crucial? When are they facing the Chiefs again? I currently don't know off the top of your head. Sorry,
but at some point later in the season because it's a division game. But not entirely
that's going to be an interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah. What are we at in the comments?
Let's check our comments real quick.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No problem. But yeah, so I think that Herbert will definitely be a great quarterback, especially with that Chargers team. But Anthony Lynn just has to get confidence though. You have to just establish that confidence in the guy because when you do that, it's going to take that kid's ego, and he's going to be able to just take it to another level, and I think in a good way rather than a bad way.
No, you're right.
I don't know what Lynn has seen in Tyrod other than the fact of him just basically just being a stepping stone to this guy.
You can't see anything in Tyrod Taylor.
No, Rex Ryan saw something when he got him from the Ravens as a backup, but ever since then, there's really not much to the guy. I think the league hasn't figured out.
He's been a backup for all these years for a reason.
Yeah, if he had the chance to really break through, he would have done it in Buffalo when he was basically the guy for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Eventually you have to just say, this guy is what he is.
But I guess there is some sort of a hope. Look at Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, but Tannehill. I don't know. I think Tannehill did it in less years. You look at Taylor, and people forget that he was the backup for Flacco before any of this.
I certainly don't think there's any chance that Tyrod Taylor becomes something special.
No, I don't think so. Especially with the way he plays. Tannehill is more of a stationary quarterback who I feel like stationary quarterbacks probably have a better shot of learning how to adapt and get better over time. Mm-hmm. You take a running quarterback, I feel those skills just diminish with age. If you can't come into the league and and really, hone those skills from the jump, I don't think that you can really improve with that as you get older. It's not. It's like the opposite of like how we were talking about a Justin Verlander. If there's a guy who is basically only throws gas and stuff like that, that guy's gonna have a much shorter shelf life than a guy who you look at Bartolo Colon. I think he stuck around until he was like 44, 45. He wasn't throwing any faster than like 80, 88 mile an hour fastballs, but I mean he was able to stick around. And I mean,
No, but you're right. That running quarterback skill set definitely diminishes over time because you just become more unathletic as you get older.
I mean, you can look at even look at a guy like a Michael Vick who he came back into the league, and I mean I think he played till his late 30s, but eventually he was a backup quarterback, which is crazy to think about, that a guy who was as electric as Vic, eventually just was basically relegated to just basically a guy just on the sideline with a clipboard. And it just kind of shows what happens with that skill set. And you'd like to see it. You'd like to see him have a longer shelf life, but that's just not what happens when you basically expose yourself more to, the more you put yourself in that open field, the less chance you have for a roughing the passer call. The more of a shot that you have with some guy, either taking out your legs or popping a shot to the chest, and that's just what happens.
And that's exactly why I really am starting to not like the whole Teddy Bridgewater starting quarterback for the Panthers thing.
Yeah,
it's because this guy's been through countless injuries. He's been a backup his entire career, and I just don't think, unless there's hope of your football IQ going up, you're not getting any healthier physically.
Well, I mean, Teddy B was the starter for the Vikings, and he was solid up until that ACL injury, and he did have a good couple games in New Orleans. So you can say that he probably earned it off that. But I mean, I would definitely say that that the Panthers did take a big gamble, and right now it doesn't look like it's working out.
Exactly, and if those legs are diminishing, Teddy Bridgewater has never had the strongest arm.
Yeah.
So if that's the only thing he's relying on is his IQ and his arm, I don't see how a team like the Panthers with not too many weapons, especially now that McCaffrey's injured.
Yeah.
Well, what are the odds for the Panthers? You can't tell.
Yeah. Also in the NFL, the Atlanta Falcons, they had to just do it again. They were up late and they just had to blow another big lead.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowboys ended up winning with a walk-off field goal, by Greg the Leg Zerline. They won by 1 point. And, did you see that onside kick that they just didn't go on?
Yeah. I mean, Dan Quinn's still the coach, right?
I believe so.
Dan Quinn's going to be making some cuts after that one, I think.
Oh, my God. I mean, your special teams.
That was atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, some of these special teams guys are on literally 4 situations like that. And when you can't execute, there's a chance a team probably isn't taking you again in the league.
You shouldn't have to tell a professional football player that the ball doesn't have to go 10 yards on an onside kick to be able to pick it up.
Yeah, if those guys are starting to come down there and get close to touching it, just pick up the ball and just go down.
Because that's exactly what it looked like happened. I mean, the onside kick went straight towards the sideline, and the Falcons didn't think they could touch it until it went 10 yards.
It's like, what are you talking about? You're the receiving team. If that Cowboys team is getting way too close, then you just jump on the ball, just call it dead.
Exactly.
At that point, you're going to have it at midfield, and you can probably you have a shot at ending the game right there.
Your team is 1-1 instead of 0-2.
Exactly, and that looks much better in the scoreboard.
And maybe Devontae Freeman's not out the door if they win.
Devontae Freeman, I don't know. I think he was probably still out the door. They got tied early too.
Yeah, he was still out the door.
Yeah,
but
he was still out the door.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was checked out completely. And then one of the injuries we were talking about was that of Broncos starting quarterback Drew Lock. I don't know what are your thoughts on Lock as a quarterback?
I've always liked Drew Lock.
Yeah.
I always thought he had high hopes. I had high hopes for him. I think he was the perfect guy to go into a franchise like the Broncos and just absolutely ball out. But it's not going to be the case this season.
Yeah, I mean he's out for like 4 to 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, something.
He's a sprained AC joint. It's the type of injury that Jimmy Garoppolo had during Brady suspension in 2016. Had him out for a couple weeks, and that was the reason Jacoby Brissett had to start for a little bit. You could look at. I mean, it's definitely a tough injury to come back from, but it's definitely not one of the career-ending kind of variety. So I do have hopes that Locke will be able to return.
I really hope he can.
Good form. I think he'll be fine.
That Broncos team is absolutely stacked right now. I think.
But then again, you're still in that Chiefs division.
That's true.
Yeah, and you're still battling out with Herbert.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and also, I don't know if you saw, it's looking like Von Miller is going to be out for season 2.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I think it was some sort of ankle injury. I don't remember off the
Yeah,
top of my head.
that's
But
killer for that team.
killer.
Yeah. Actually, that's a really stacked division. You think about the Chiefs, the Raiders, the Broncos, and then the Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
What a stacked division.
Stacked.
I mean, they're killing it out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the news I was going to talk about is that the Denver Broncos signed Blake Bortles to be a quarterback, one of their quarterbacks. I don't think he's the starter this week. I think Jeff Driscoll, the former Lions backup when Stafford went down, is going to be the starting quarterback this week. And I think they called up the practice squad quarterback to be the backup. But what are your thoughts on Blake Bortles? Getting another shot.
I mean, we just got done talking about Tyrod Taylor. I think at this point in Blake Bortles' career, I think it's similar. He's going to be that guy that's just kind of passed around to team by team.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can maybe give him credit for the year he had in 2017 when he got to the AFC Championship game against the Pats. But really, I mean, that was really just Saxon.